Today we're gonna be going over what's in my camera bag as a videographer in LA. Let's go. What's up guys, my name is Evan Huynh. Welcome to 11% Tutorials. Today we're gonna be going over some essential pieces of gear and equipment that I use pretty much on a day-to-day basis as a videographer slash music video director in LA. Everything in this bag is just a pretty baseline, essential, and things that I really made mistakes on and just didn't bring earlier on. So I hope this brings some value to you and helps you save some time, especially if you're trying to get into videography. Also heads up, I'd say this list is pretty top tier, especially if you're like a run and gun and videographer who's on the move, especially for travel. So I really try to pack light and easily so I can move around really quickly and also just pull out my gear at any given moment. Without further ado, let's get to what's inside my camera bag. So first up, what camera bag am I using? Right here, I have the Brevity photo jumper bag. I gotta say off the bat, one of my favorite parts about this bag is that it actually does not look like a camera bag. It looks like a normal, like nice standard bag, and it's really clean. Like I could wear this in public, and also people don't think it's a camera bag and nobody's trying to really steal it that much. So really just an absolutely beautifully designed bag. Shout out to Brevity, they really killed it with this one. Just for comparison and reference, I wanna show you what I've been using before. As you can see, this thing is just so bulky and also just ugly, let's be real. It's good, it serves a purpose and it has like compartments and everything that you need in the camera bag, but it was just so bulky. There's of course waist straps, so I guess that kind of helped a little bit with the weight distribution, but overall, bulky, big, looked like a camera bag, doesn't have a laptop space, and just ugly. I hate wearing this thing in public. It makes me look like I'm hiking. So without that, So with that out the way, let's get into some of the features that this bag has. First off, there is a front compartment right here. Some nice slots, just like a standard bag. You got your tech, your chargers, your small computer stuff, SD cards, whatnot. In the front next pocket, you have access to the main compartment of the camera bag. I have my compartmentalized compartment setup here, which we're gonna be getting to later in the video of how I set this up. There's also a side access pocket, which I like to hold my camera right here. Spoiler alert, and I can just easily pull that out at ease. Over here in the back, we have another nice pocket where I like to keep some filters and just other small stuff. And last but not least, we have the top compartment, which is the computer slot, and it's actually waterproof right here. This is all waterproof, airtight, and you can fit pretty much any laptop to up to 16 inches, which is pretty big. Oh, and then how could I forget? There is a nice little compartment inside right here and a top access to everything in the main compartment of the camera bag. Can't forget a water bottle holder right here too. Shout out to Brevity, they killed it with this bag, and if you want to check it out, I've linked it below in the description. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what's inside my bag. You like that transition I did there? It's kind of cool. I was kind of planning that for a minute. So all right guys, here's my camera bag packed. Let's get straight into it. Starting off first up with, the most essential part of it all. What makes it a camera bag is the camera. So right here, as I mentioned before, we have this nice side compartment, which I absolutely love because it gives me quick access to my camera, which I like to store right here. So this is actually the Canon EOS 5D. It's not my main camera, but it's mainly a photography camera. My main camera is actually the Sony a7 III, which is the one that you guys are on, which I'll show you in a bit. But this is the EOS 5D, really great photography camera, but also just gets the job done, shows you the gist of this camera bag. I like to keep my camera right here, as I mentioned, because I'm always just on the run, moving in and out, and sometimes there's times where you need your camera out, and sometimes there's times where you need your camera just stored away. So I like to have it in this compartment, also ready for quick access. I do have on the front strap of my bag a quick release plate, which is this brand right here. I'm gonna be honest, I forget the name, but this is the logo. I'm gonna Google it later, but it's also linked below in the description. I like to have this quick release plate right here on my shoulder plate, so I can just carry this camera right here on my left shoulder, and then I can just release it right here by pushing down on this, and it slides off. Super easy, really great for just going in and out. I use it a lot for shooting festivals because I can just carry this like super easily. So yeah, with that, that is the camera portion of it. Let's move on to the lenses, which I also like to carry in the same compartment. And then because of these nice little like compartment dividers that the Brevity bag actually comes with, I can very easily store everything. Brings us to our first lens, which is my favorite lens by far. This is actually a Sony lens, Artisan 7.5mm lens, super wide angle lens. I love this lens. Here's some photos I took with it. absolutely incredible. I just love having this on the go, and it just gets like the full picture and context of everything. And this is only like $100. You got it on an OfferUp deal. Don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp deals, by the way. Get your camera gear there, saves you so much time and money. Moving on to my longer lens, the exact complete opposite. I'm gonna lay this down because it's kind of leaning now that I've unbalanced it. But right here is our Canon 70 to 200 millimeter. This is a legacy lens, absolutely beautiful lens. Now, I'm really not a big Canon guy. But as I mentioned, I do mainly shoot on my Sony a7 III, which is the one that I'm shooting and filming this video on with right now. But I do have a Canon adapter right here, which converts it to a Sony. So I can attach this to a Sony lens, and then I can attach this to the Canon lens, and boom, there we go. We have a Canon lens on a Sony camera. The reason being so is just because I really love the way that these Canon legacy lenses are. I do think, I'm gonna admit it, I do believe that Canon has better lenses, and it just creates way better looks, especially when I just take a look at the photos. But I will take photos on this occasionally. It's still a great camera. This is my main go-to 70 to 200 millimeter. It is kind of bulky though sometimes, so just as a quick option for some smaller shoots, I actually did pick up this 55 to 210 millimeter, which is a Sony lens. Now this is an optical steady shot. It does have a 4.5 to 6.3 f-stop, so it does let in less light than this one, obviously too, just the way if you look at it. It does go farther, and sometimes when you're shooting in the daytime and you just need a really close-up lens or you're kind of far away from something, this is a great option. So sometimes I'll substitute this, especially if I'm traveling. Also just a lot lighter, super easy. And moving on to my flash. Now this right here, I have my Godox 2.0, which I believe this is the second model of the Godox V860. Now this is probably one of my favorite flashes so far, just because of how fast it is. It has a really quick reload time, and then it's also just a really good bright flash. Pretty standard. I got this one in B&H Photo at New York. Shout out to B&H Photo. If you've never gone there, absolutely insane. You have to check it out. But this I can also just store in my bag right above my lenses, set up by these little compartments that I made. And the cool thing about this bag is that you can actually just go ahead and change these compartments however you like them. So this is my camera gear, this is my setup, but obviously you're gonna have some different gear, some different options. So you can of course change this compartmentalized setup to however you like it and however best fits you. Next up, and coming from the top right here, is my charger, portable charger. I love to have this on handy. I always keep this basically with my lenses because it's really essential. I'd be running out of battery a lot, and especially if you don't be upgrading your iPhone, you know that Apple kills your battery in like two minutes. They do. My phone dies hella fast now. I have an iPhone 12, by the way, for context, so it's not even that old. Next up is my Sony kit lens. Now this is just a go-to. I love to have it. 28 to 70, just a very good standard lens. You can get some mildly wide shots and then some mildly close-ups. It's a great standard one to have. But yeah, that's the main compartment of the bag. One last thing I forgot to mention, I guess I could show you packing this up, is that it's a top loader, so I can fit everything and just access everything from the top. So let's say I'm just like on a shoot, have the bag on me, I can just ask my friend or the artist I'm with, it's just like, hey, can you just reach in and grab that for me? And everything is just directly accessible from the top as well as the bottom if you have some space to set it down in. But with that, that's the main interior of everything I'm carrying gear wise. Let's go ahead and jump into all the gadgets and minor stuff that I do think are also essential. Now this is a go-to must have, especially if you're just trying to get some cool action shots. I think this is preferably a better substitute than a GoPro now, honestly, just because of how cool it is. I have it on a 9-foot extension Tesla stick, but this is really cool. I love to have this on shoots, especially if you can't really get drone shots either. I have on it a protector right here, just so that the lenses don't get damaged. And then on top of that, I can just go ahead and just start recording whenever I need. It's just a really overall great setup. I believe they're now on the X4 right now. This still really gets the job done, and it's just a great drone substitute, especially if you're not allowed to even fly a drone in there in whatever venue or area you're in the first place. So I like to have this right here hanging on the side. I actually do have a cover for it right here, which is the Insta360 cover, and I could just go ahead and attach this to the side. So it's pretty cool, saves me a bunch of time, and then I can just go ahead and hook this on and have a carabiner. Also, by the way, FYI, always have a carabiner on your shoots. It saves you so much time, especially if you're just have a bunch of gear, a bunch of stuff hanging. You can also hang the bag from a carabiner as well. That saves you so much time as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the main front compartment here, okay? So this is all my tech mini essentials. First up, 11% stickers. If you want to get 11% sticker, you can get it here at 11%.net. We're actually right now in our 20K special, so if you want to check them out, they're available on the website for a limited time only. With that, moving on to our next gear essential, which is our battery kit. Now this is a battery recharger for Sony batteries. As you can tell, I'm a Sony person. I don't be using Canon. This is just because I'm shooting this video on the Sonys. I have 2 Sony batteries right here. Pretty good charge. It'll last you about like 2, sometimes 3 hours, depending on how much you're shooting. And the best part about this case is that it is a rechargeable case. I can just plug a USB-C into this and boom, all my batteries are charged back up. Next is this is very important. I have like a little mini screw, and then I also have some extra quick release plates in here too. So these quick release plates, key note, very important thing you must know is that they can't be unscrewed unless if you have one of these Adams wrenches, which are just very important to have. You always have to have one of these just to unscrew something. And last but not least, a penny. This right here, I'm serious guys, this has come in clutch so much. One of the most valuable and also least expensive pieces of equipment in my bag. And the reason why I have a penny in here is because I can unscrew stuff, and a lot of my gear and equipment, the cages that I use, quick release pads that I use, they require like a wrench or a little screw that you have to unscrew it with. And having a coin always comes in clutch because I can just tighten stuff. I can just go ahead and change up my rig. And it's really one of the most useful pieces of equipment I've actually had. And it's a penny. That's the craziest part. I've even been on shoots before where other photographers have asked me if I had a coin, and I always have my penny. So that must have, especially if you're changing up your rigs and stuff. Next, I keep my adapter just for my computer. 11% sticker. Check it out, 11%.net. This is a Belkin adapter I got on Amazon. It has HDMI, USB, USB-C, headphone jack, whatnot. This is because we're Apple users and I'm not on like the newest Apples where they brought back SD cards. I'm gonna get to my computer in just a bit, but I'm kind of stuck in that like Apple phase where they just decided to get rid of every single useful port, which I don't know why they did that. And last but not least in here, I carry a flash, extra battery, and some lens caps. So boom, that's the front of the bag. Now finally, last but not least, let's get to the back. I'm gonna go ahead and unclip this carabiner, this Insta360, so it's not just dangling around. But my favorite part, the most useful part, my favorite piece of equipment that I use pretty much every day is, of course, you guessed it, my computer. This baby has been killing it for a minute. So right here, number one, like absolute must, I recommend for every videographer, any video editor, photo editor, whatever you're doing, you have to have some SSD cards. Now, I'm one of those people who just likes to go ahead and tape the SSD cards directly to my computer. I actually had a Velcro strap for this one, but I kind of got lazy with this one. These are 2 Samsung SSD cards. This is my work one, this is my personal one. This is a 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte. The entire computer itself has 1 terabyte of storage, and I think collectively these 2 SSD cards were about like 210 to 230 bucks. So having to upgrade to a 2 terabyte MacBook would have costed me like an extra $1,000, and I was able to do it for only about 200 bucks. So having SSD cards saves you so much money, and they're also really quick and easy. I can just plug these in with the USB-C cable that I have stored in the front compartment of my backpack right here. You know, just saves me so much time, gives me like triple the storage, I believe. So yeah, this, my MacBook, keep this right here inside this water seal tight compartment in the back. Absolutely love it. And last but not least, just because Brevity wanted to go above and beyond, they gave us a little tiny mini compartment in the back right here, which you can just choose whatever you like to store. I personally like to go for my more artistic pieces of equipment. Now these right here are star filters. Very, very slept on and underrated piece of camera equipment. Kind of becoming more popular, but I like to have these star filters on me just because if I want to get a really cool artistic shot, it adds like a cool star filter effect to whatever you're shooting, especially if there's bright areas or bright lights, it just turns it into a star. Absolutely beautiful. And these go on top of these lenses, the Sony lenses right here. So I have 2 of those. And last but not least, I have my kaleidoscope filter as well. I'm big on filters, guys, serious. If you want to take some cool photos, you gotta have some cool filters. This kaleidoscope lens has taken some crazy photos before. I love it just because it's like really artistic looking, and also it's just a really simple piece of equipment. You can take reflection shots, duplicate shots, and just a bunch of other cool trippy visuals that you don't even have to hop into Photoshop to create. It's all created literally when you take the photo. These are some cool filters and store them in this back final compartment. But with that, guys, you have pretty much emptied out my entire camera bag. Once again, this is the Brevity Photo Jumper olive green backpack. Seriously love this, super slick. And also just, you saw how much stuff it literally stored inside this tiny backpack that looks like a normal backpack. If you want to check it out, it's all, of course, linked in the description along with all the rest of this equipment here. If you had any questions or suggestions, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But with that, let's go ahead and pack all this stuff back up. If you guys made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you again so much for watching. Really, it means the world to me. If you found any value or help from this video, please be sure to smash the like button, hit subscribe. It's free. All this content is free, so really, it'd mean the world to me. And of course, once again, if you're interested in getting the Brevity backpack that I use and pretty much any other piece of gear or equipment mentioned in the video, you can check them all out. I've linked them all down below in the description, so you can just get them at ease, just to help save you guys some time. Also, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you have any suggestions or recommendations to anyone else, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. And to all beginner videographers, anyone just getting started learning the ropes, we have a bunch of digital resources at our website, 11%.net. We have digital LUT files, preset packs, courses, and a bunch of other digital resources that will help speed up your editing workflow, help you learn a lot faster, and become a much better videographer in half the time. So if you want to check it out, it's all linked below in the description at 11%.net. Once again, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.